Harry Potter, as you should already know if you operate in the pop culture sphere and haven't been living under a rock for the last couple of years, is receiving a revamp in the form of a multi-TV series show to be made by the network HBO Max. This has been met with some scepticism, but overall with careful enthusiasm. With a large and faithful fan base that spans multiple generations and massive popularity that only seems to have grown year upon year, reflected in the book sales, the continuing appreciation of the movies, and the overwhelming high attendance of the Universal theme park and studio tours, this is something that HBO Max cannot afford to F up. So with all that in mind, the last thing that the makers of this want to be doing is making any kind of controversial decisions, especially in relation to plot details and casting. So imagine my and everyone else's shock when this guy's name is being thrown into the mix for the character of none other than Severus Snape. If you're not aware, Severus Snape is one of the most complex, interesting and most beloved characters from the Harry Potter franchise, even going so far as to top multiple polls to decide who the fans' favourite Harry Potter character is. Not to mention he was portrayed by the much loved, very much missed actor Alan Rickman, who gave a quintessential performance as the anti-hero character. So with all of this in mind, this character is probably one of the last characters that the series creators want to mess around with. Now, the last thing I or pretty much anyone wants to do is make this about race. It should always be the best actor for the role is the one who should be chosen, and this particular actor's resume certainly would suggest that he is more than qualified. Now, it should be kept in mind that this decision could have been greenlit by JK herself. She seems to have a very large hand in the creation of this series, not to mention that she has displayed in the past that she has no problem with making identity-based decisions with her own characters. See Hermione Granger and Dumbledore. But given the description of Snape's physical appearance within the books, that of sallow, pale and sickly skin, and also a recently resurfaced sketch accompanied by a description by JK herself of how the character should look, this particular decision is one that probably will not go over well, especially if this is how the character is supposed to look. On the other hand, this could be seen as an opportunity by the series creators to put their own creative stamp on the project and cast someone who is at stark contrast to the portrayal we're all familiar with. To that I say, is this really how you want to do it? A relevant point has been made that Papaisidou, the actor in question, is closer in age to the character of Snape within the original story. At the age of 54, Alan Rickman was quite a bit older than the character of Snape at the beginning of the story, who was in his early 30s. We, meaning the fans, were happy to overlook this as he was so perfectly cast. So in their own way, this could be an attempt by the creators to do the character more justice. Again, to this I say, is this really how you want to do it? At best, this seems like a cynical attempt by the creators of the show to garner a reaction from the fan base. At worst, it's a massive misjudgment from the show's producers and casting directors. Or maybe there's a genuine decision being made here, albeit not a very carefully thought out one. Or maybe they're pulling a Sonic and testing the fandom waters to see what the overall feeling is, and then adjust according to whatever the fan reaction may be. One or more of those could be true. Now, I've already noted that this is not an official announcement, it's merely a rumour that seems to have come out of the early stages of casting. However, this particular rumour has come from the outlet Variety, a source very close to the industry and one that tends to get these sorts of things correct. And as a result, the mainstream media and everyone else involved has been more than happy to run with it. Given the current climate in Hollywood, the overall decrease in box office and viewing figures, and the fatigue from the endless reboots, rehashes and remakes that has set in for more and more fans as time has gone on, this decision may prove to be a bold, but not a very smart one. Coupling this with the high rate of content output and consumption from the various streaming and video on demand services available to us at any given moment, the last thing JK, HBO, Warner Brothers and Hollywood in general wants is yet another homogenised, bland and by-the-numbers adaptation that will be forgotten quicker than Hermione was by her parents. You have to be a fan to get that one. This decision, if true, was made in a world that was and still is dominated by identity politics, but it is a world that is noticeably and steadily shifting, and the makers of this show, along with the entertainment industry, need to shift along with it. As I said before, the customer and fan are starting to suffer from fatigue, and now want nothing more than good old-fashioned escapism and entertainment, and if it's based on an existing IP, it needs to stick to the original story. This is something that the entertainment industry, and including the makers of the show, would do well to remember. Now, since this article was released, more casting rumours have emerged, and they will almost certainly continue well into next year and before the series starts production. There is also the endorsement of the actor Cillian Murphy to play the role of Voldemort in the series by none other than the original movie actor to play the role, Ralph Fiennes, a potential casting that, if I'm being honest, I am very intrigued by. And there's also the recent announcement that the series will be filmed in the location of Leavesden Studios, where the original movies were also filmed, which to me is quite a nice touch. Now we all know there will be more rumours, articles and announcements as time goes on, but once these rumours start to become confirmed decisions, they will be ones that the fan base will have to be 100% on board with. Because if enough fans are unimpressed with these decisions, they will tune out of this sooner and faster than Harry and Ron at one of Hermione's spew meetings. Again, if you're a fan, you'll get that one. But all of this is just my take. I want to know what you guys think. Is this a good decision? Is it a good choice for Snape's casting or not? And if it isn't, who do you guys fancy? And if there's any other predictions you guys have about any of the decisions going forward, I'd be really interested in hearing them. But that's all I've got for you today, guys. Thanks very much for watching. If you did like the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share it with anyone you think will be interested, and also comment if you've got anything you'd like to add to the conversation. Until next time, take care and bye bye.